Hi, and welcome to my first course on HTML. I My name's Dan. I am going to school at University of Pennsylvania for graduate computer programming, or for a graduate CS degree, and I'm focusing on web development. So I've been doing this now for 5 or so years, and I feel I'm pretty good at teaching it, so I figured I'd take my ability to translate it to the layperson to YouTube for my In Plain English channel. Alright, so without further ado, why don't we get going? I'm assuming, since you're looking up a beginner HTML tutorial, that you don't have too much experience with making websites. HTML is generally the first thing that you have to learn to jump in to making websites. It is the skeleton language of the web. I would say that HTML and CSS and JavaScript make up most of what you know as the web. That is most of the front end stuff on the web. And by front end, I mean the things that happen on your computer and the things that you see on your screen, such as the website and all of the images and the design of the website and all of the menus and links and content of the website. That's the front end. And even JavaScript, which is the brain of your site, even making animations happen and things, that's usually the front end. However, the back end would be your database. It would be your PHP, which is another language used on the web and has been used for a really long time. So the people that send you the website, they're using these other languages as well. But in general, when you're doing front end stuff and you're doing it from scratch, you will be using HTML, CSS, and JavaScript. And what those stand for are Hypertext Markup Language, or HTML, Cascading Style Sheets, or CSS, and JavaScript, or JS. And that has nothing to do, well, not nothing to do, but it is pretty much different from Java. So just because you know Java, if you know Java, does not necessarily mean that will translate into JavaScript. However, you probably have a huge head start in learning JavaScript. So why don't we get started with HTML. So what is HTML? As you can see on the screen right here, this is HTML. This is the basis of any website. This is credit to w3schools.com for this, the most basic template imaginable. So I don't even know if I need to credit them, because this is probably something I would have made had I randomly come up with the most basic thing I could. But this is the necessary items to make a web page happen. Alright, so let me just show you one thing. Let's say we go to Google. And just to show you that HTML is behind every website, if you right click, well, I have Windows and this is Chrome, so it's not always exactly the same, but every major browser, which is the thing that you view your website through, or all websites through, has this console inspect element. So you right click, go to inspect element, and you can see down here, this is all the HTML in the web page. Alternatively, and then just to show you over here, this is all the CSS. So when we look at this website, we can look at specifically this line, and it's showing us that this line refers to that colored in area above, and that line below, and that line there, and that's all referring to those things. It's kind of difficult to view in here. This is more so for looking around and testing things and checking for bugs and other problems. But if you right click and view source, most browsers also have this. All browsers probably have this. This is the source of the website, of Google's website. Now Google's website is of course a little crazy. So this might be a bad website to be showing you. Yeah, this is a bad website to be showing you. Hold on. Let's find something a little less crazy. Let's look at example.com. I'm pretty sure that's just, yeah, an example domain. This domain is established to be used for illustrative examples in documents. You may use this domain in examples without prior coordination or asking for permissions. Hey, I don't need to attribute them. All right, so let's look at this. So here's our website. This is a very simple website. Here's our HTML. And as you can see, it is highlighting specific things. So you can kind of relate these items to where they come from, or where they show up on the screen. And just to look at the source, because that's a little easier to look at, here is that website. It's just that. So that's pretty simple. You know, that's, I don't know, 500 characters, less, 200 characters, more than that. Let's say 500 characters to make that example.com website. Now, how to actually get the document onto example.com so that it becomes your website is something I'll show you down the road. First, why don't we just get started with HTML, the results of which we can view offline. We could do all of our work offline for this beginning section for HTML. Alright, so let's get started with going through the basic HTML document.